Greetings, my fellow eagles and the entire world. This is Eagle Emmanuel Mensah with inspirations and guidance from Eagle Helen Mensah in the unseen world, coming into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment. Today is the 14th of August in the year 2024, and the Bible says this is the day the Lord has made. And for that matter, we should rejoice and be glad in it. And so I take this opportunity to invite the whole world to join me to give thanks to God for the day that He has granted unto us. And life in general, life is beautiful, life is wonderful, life is glorious. Life is God Himself, flowing through all things, including mankind. Today, I'm going to speak to you on the topic, know the importance of your emotions. I repeat, the importance of your emotions. Every human being exists in two parts. Whether you know this or not, that is who you are. Before you came into this physical realm, you already existed in the non-physical and was part of what we call God. And you are still part of God. And this part, or as part of God, you were given, or you are given a unique identity, and that is what we call our soul. And so every human being has a soul. We all know it. We believe this. And the soul is simply God that has individualized Himself into a unique personality or identity as you, as every human being walking on this earth. And so when we talk of God, we are all part of God. We form the body of God. And so the arrangement is that the soul focuses itself into a physical body. And as a matter of fact, it is that you are the physical part of you is the extension of your soul. Because soul is spirit, light, energy. And the physical part of us, or the physical realm, is the furthest or the densest part of spirit or energy. And therefore, you are not separated from your soul. And also, you don't have a soul. You are actually a soul. You are spirit. You are energy, positive energy. And so, you live in two worlds, the seen and unseen world. The unseen world is your source. It becomes the source of everything. And then your seen world is the recipient of what source is. And therefore, the arrangement is that you in the physical and you in the non-physical, you must always be in sync. You must be in alignment such that there will be a free flow of things, or there will be a free flow of relationship, such that what is in the non-physical flows through you. The only thing is that your non-physical part, soul or God, is pure, is positive. Therefore, it holds only one perspective about everything, and that is positive. And now, you in the physical, as a human being with a personality, with your five senses, surrounded by circumstances and situations, you are also to think, but you are given the free will to think or to choose what to think so that you can create. The only reason that you are here is to co-create with your higher self or your soul. But you are given the free will, the freedom of choice, what to think and what not to think. And so when you choose thoughts about any given situation, regardless of what it is, and you choose to think in the positive, that means you are in tune with your real self, your soul. And for that matter, what is in your soul flows through you. And soul is love. Soul is happiness. Soul is joy. Soul is every good and positive things that you can think of. And therefore, when you are thinking in this mood, you feel excited, you feel connected, you feel that positive energy flowing through you, and therefore you are thriving. And that is the other part of the emotions. But because we have free will and we are supposed to make our own choice, if you decide to look at whatever situation you are looking on in a negative way, then you disturb the connection or the arrangement between you and your higher self. And in that case, what you were supposed to receive from your soul, from God, in this world, you stop it, or you bring a stoppage to it. And when it comes that way, you feel the pain of that kind of misalignment between you and your higher self. And therefore, the negative emotions that you feel is as a result of the misalignment or you pinching yourself from who you are. And therefore, you don't receive anything. And that is the pain that you feel. And so, this is who you are. And that is what you need to know in order for you to be a deliberate thinker. You need to know the role that your emotions are playing in your life as you co-create with your higher self. And so you are supposed to think about every situation, everything in the positive, so that what is in your higher self will follow through you. But as soon as you think the other way, you make your choice, you make a conscious choice to think in the negative, then you take yourself off the line, and therefore you feel the pain. There is this kind of disjointed relationship, and therefore you feel the pain. The pain that you are feeling is your emotions. So your emotions become the feeling, and that is what you need to use as a guide in your thinking. A deliberate thinker is the one that knows this, and therefore does not concentrate on what is happening right now. For he or she knows that whatever he or she is thinking is the creation of the future. And therefore, always the cardinal question, what am I thinking? And the second cardinal question, how am I feeling, is always in use. And so, your negative emotions are not the cause of anything outside you, but are the cause of the way you think and your relationship between you and your higher self. You are like a house, and a house that is divided against itself does not stand. That is a fact. And also, if I'm to go back to our relationship with God, as God being one body that has individualized himself into every one of us as souls, but we are part of God. You can look at this, you can look at this from the way our buildings are. Those of us in the developed world, if you go to the big cities, London, New York, and Berlin, the government buildings or the hotels are huge buildings. They occupy a larger space of land. But in or within these buildings are individual units. Some are rooms, some are cubicles, some are offices. But all of these unique rooms they form part of the whole building. They are not separated from that. And that is who we are in relation with God. And therefore, so long as each room remains within the walls of that building, everything is good. And so it is with you. You are in God. You are a soul as part of God. Therefore, so long as you remain in alignment with God, everything will be good. Your life will be prosperous. Your life will be wonderful. But if you take yourself out of this arrangement, that means you are on your own. And therefore, you feel the pain, the separation that you have created between you and your higher self. And that is how negative emotions are created. And therefore, when you ask yourself, what am I thinking? How am I feeling? If you are feeling good about whatever topic, whatever thing that you are doing and thinking and doing, then you know you are in tune with yourself. You can actually feel the energy flowing through you. And that is what you need to be deliberate to concentrate on that. But if you are feeling otherwise, then you got to be deliberate. You got to wake up. You got to take deliberate action to distract yourself from that topic, that particular thing. And then look for something to engage yourself. And that is how you say you are a deliberate thinker. So that mastering the art of deliberate thinking hinges on this particular thing, that particular scenario that I'm painting before you. When you are feeling negative, when you are feeling bad, it is because of the thoughts that you are entertaining. And there is no way that you can change that condition except you changing your thought process or what you are thinking about. That is a fact. But what we do is, what majority of men and women do is, we think that when we go into such situations, we need people to sympathize us. And therefore, we dwell in that. We make it a profession to dwell in negative emotions, to think negatively. And then we turn around and say that other things are against us. Everyone is against you. It is the devil. It is the work of the enemy. It is the work of the witches. But that is not the truth. It is by your own internal arrangement and the arrangement between who you are. Who you really are is in the non-physical. And that is your soul, the broader perspective of you. And so be mindful or be aware of this. Let this be your guiding principle. Be a deliberate thinker. You know what you are going through momentarily. And you are feeling that because of what the thoughts you are entertaining. Therefore, deliberately look for or reach out for thoughts that will bring you a relief, that will bring you happiness and joy. And then you move yourself back to who you really are. And then you co-create positively with yourself. That is a fact. So when we say you create your own reality, that is what it means. And so negative emotions are a very important thing in our lives. They serve as our guidance, the internal guidance system. We've actually just completed the other segment, and that is what we are building upon. And so to be a deliberate thinker is not just controlling your mind or just forcing yourself to think in a certain way without the understanding of how these things work. But a deliberate thinker is the one that rather concentrate on how he or she is feeling, and then gently and purposefully look for other things to distract him or herself, such that those thoughts will cease. And when they cease, new ones replaces them. Your mind can contain only one stream of thought at a time. You cannot think about two things at the same time. It doesn't work like that. You have to leave the other one and concentrate on the other. You have to leave this one and concentrate on the other one. And so the moment you release the thoughts about whatever thing that is tormenting you, you reach out for thoughts that brings you relief. And then you save yourself. We know this in our lives. Every human being knows that whenever your hand touches a hot surface, the natural thing and the instinctive action to do is to take your hand off immediately. We know it. Whenever we feel any negative or whenever we feel heat in any form, we withdraw from it. That is the same thing with our thinking. The pain that you receive from the burning of fire is the same as what you are receiving from negative emotions. Your thoughts are creating that emotions. You are separating yourself from God. But unfortunately, we know this in our physical world, but we are unable to apply it in our thinking. But it is because we are ignorant. We have not been exposed to this. And that is why now the message of empowerment and enlightenment is here with us. Do not be ignorant about how you feel. Treat your emotions, treat your feelings about how, in the same way as you would treat the burning of a fire or a hot surface, as far as your body is concerned. As soon as you step on it, you take your foot off. As soon as you place your hand on the stove, you take it off because you feel the pain. In the same way, be attentive to the pain you are feeling emotionally. Your emotional state is very powerful. Your emotional state is your real life, and it is the indication of what you are creating in your life, what you are creating, what is yet to come into your life in the future. And if you become attentive and if you treat it in the same way as you would treat with your hand and a hot surface, and take your mind off that particular topic and think of something, just as you take your hand off the hot surface and place it in the cold water. In the same way, you have to take your mind off from that hot topic that is creating negative emotions and feeling within you, and place it on a cold and a relieving topic that will bring you relief. That is when you say, or that is when you are able to do this, That is when we say you are a deliberate thinker. You are thinking on purpose. You are thinking not because things are happening, but you are thinking because you want to feel good. And therefore, you think in a way that it brings you relief and joy. And therefore, we know for a fact that there are so many people, there are a lot of people that they thrive in adversity. It doesn't matter what is happening. They thrive. They become successful. They become happy, even in times of war. Why? They have trained themselves to not to look at what is happening momentarily, but they look at what they want to be, where they want to be. And so that is a fact. Deliberate thinking, mastering the art of deliberate thinking is what we are doing. And that is the nitty-gritties of it is what I'm sharing with you. Your emotions are necessary. Your negative emotions are messages to you that you are separated or you are far away from your real self. And the only thing you have to do is to come back. That is to be deliberate. Do not allow the emotions or your thoughts to drag you. Do not allow your thoughts to drag you here and there. Just like the car analogy I used the other day. If you're a driver and you are in your car and you really know how to drive it, you don't allow the power of the car to move you anyhow, but you direct it, you control it. Your mind is a powerful force even greater than your car. Therefore, you need to be intelligent and deliberately direct your mind. Bring thoughts that you want to entertain that will bring you happiness and joy. And as you do that, you create happiness and joy in your life in the future. And so, real-time situations, real-time circumstances, real-time situations and challenges are not real. They are old news. But you can change them by thinking in a certain way. You can change them in the future by thinking in a certain way. And that is to be deliberate. Be conscious of how you are feeling. However you are feeling about any given situation is an indication. And do not play victim. Do not expect people to come and sympathize with you. But all you need to do is that ask yourself, how am I feeling? I am the only person feeling within my body, within my system. And therefore, it means I have separated myself from my true self. Therefore, the only thing I have to do is to suit myself, look for something that will cool me down and then bring me to joy and happiness. That is when you say you are a deliberate thinker. And so this is how life is. This is entirely about you. And every human being goes through what I'm talking about. Every human being knows that at any point in time, whatever he or she is thinking is eating him or her up. And people even confess that this thing is eating me up. You go to bed, you cannot sleep. You cannot do anything. Everything of your life, of yours in your life is so bleak, is so black. That means you are losing power. The source from which you are supposed to receive energy and everything to be able to thrive in this world, you've separated yourself from. The only thing you have to do is to bring yourself up. Be deliberate. And therefore, your negative emotions are very important. They are your internal guidance systems that are guiding you as you navigate through this world. It is the same as what we have on the dashboards of our cars. If any message appears on your car, that is a negative message. You don't keep on driving. You stop. And then, if anything at all, you look for assistance. That is how it is. Do not ignore your negative emotions or do not make them a profession to dwell in them and such that you can use them to ask for sympathies. But anything that any man or woman will say to you will not work unless, of course, it comes to build you, it comes to empower you. Apart from that, whatever anyone will come and say, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I am that to you, when you are going through such situations, will not do you any good. But the only good that will do is that the only good thing you can do to your own self is to ask yourself, what am I thinking and how am I feeling? If it is negative emotions, then it is a good message to you that you are far away from your soul, yourself, and therefore bring yourself back in alignment. And once you do that, you become one with yourself and you become a person, a full human being that is thriving and working cooperatively with his or her inner being or his or her higher self or God to go create beautiful and wonderful experiences. The bottom line is that you create your own realities. And for you to be able to create your own positive and wonderful realities of yours, you must be deliberate. Be a deliberate thinker. That is my message for you. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now, may the overshadowing presence of God that keeps the stars in the open, such that they do not fall on us, that keeps the planets in the orbit, such that they do not clash with one another, lead and guide you, energize you, illuminate you, such that your mind and your eyes will become awakened, that you take your rightful place in life. You become awakened to your thoughts and the effects of your thoughts, your emotions, and your emotions that are translated into you or through your body as you're feeling. And once you become conscious of what you are feeling, then you have control over all life circumstances. You can change bad situations into positive one because you know that you are a co-creator, or you are co-creating with the most powerful, the greatest and powerful force in the universe. Thank you. And God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Now, once more, let me remind you, please do well to subscribe or to click on the subscribe button if you haven't done so. This is the time that we have to help one another so that we take this message of empowerment to bring relief, to bring empowerment and to our people, to ourselves, such that all of us will co-create beautiful and wonderful things in this world and share it with one another. And that is bringing or creating heaven and earth here as the true images and the likenesses of God. Thank you.